So when I woke up today, I was thinking back to all the amazing moments at UFC 278, Usman versus Edwards 2, and I was thinking of Kamaru Usman's lifeless corpse sinking towards the canvas as Leon Edwards becomes the welterweight world champion, and I was smiling to myself. I was happy about this. I was thinking about it over and over, okay? Then I started thinking about Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold and all the amazing moments that were in that fight where Luke Rockhold was gassed out in that fight but still was swearing at Paulo Costa and landing massive shots. He landed like a 360 tornado kick to the body in that fight as well, and I was thinking to myself, man, it was such a great night. And then I remembered that the fights weren't the only thing that happened at UFC 278. And I remembered that Dana White said that Tony Ferguson versus Li Jingliang was being finalized for the co-main event of UFC 279 in only a couple of weeks' time. First of all, I'm glad there's a good co-main event for UFC 279. If I hated Tony Ferguson, I don't mind this news whatsoever. I really don't mind this news whatsoever. Moving up to welterweight, you know what I mean? He's taking on Li Jingliang. Who cares? Let's just have a great co-main event of UFC 279, which desperately needed it, and now we have it. I'm okay. But I love Tony Ferguson. And his managers hate him. Tony Ferguson must hate himself. I don't know why they have made this matchup. I truly believe that Li Jingliang is going to brutally KO him. Now maybe, just maybe, Tony Ferguson is going to have an iron chin again at 170 pounds, and the weight cut or not having a weight cut is going to benefit him. I'm so angry about this fight being made. There are so many fights that are so much better for Tony Ferguson. Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor. Wait a little bit longer to make this fight with Li Jingliang even. Wait until October, November. Who is controlling this man? If it's Tony Ferguson, shame on him. But his manager should be stepping in and stopping this decision from being made. I am sick and tired of, what's next for Tony Ferguson? He needs a bit of a layup. Michael Chandler? Okay then, I guess. I don't care how good he ended up looking against Chandler in the first round. It's a terrible matchup for him. He's an older guy and he's facing one of the most explosive guys in the 155-pound division's history. Now he's taking on one of the most explosive guys at 170 pounds when it comes to power punching, and I know he's not going to wrestle with him. He's going to stand and trade with Li Jingliang, and Li Jingliang has made a career out of catching people with power shots that are trying to lean out the way of his punches. Santiago Ponzinibbio, Muslim Salikov, to name just a few in his last 3 fights. You got to wrestle this man, and Ferguson's not going to wrestle. Why have they allowed this matchup? I bet you it's a 3-rounder as well, just to top it off. I don't understand who's controlling his career. Dan Hooker, 5 rounds, October Fight Night main event. Bobby Green, 5 rounds, October Fight Night main event. There are so many matchups you can make, even at welterweight. Why is Robbie Lawler fighting Santiago Ponzinibbio? Tony Ferguson, Robbie Lawler, main card of a pay-per-view. I don't mind that one for 3 rounds. I really don't. There are so many matchups you can make for Tony Ferguson. Even a Nick Diaz fight could make some level of sense. I wouldn't want to see it for Nick Diaz. I think he should stop fighting altogether. But I know Tony Ferguson's going to continue. Kevin Holland, that would be a tough matchup for him. But it's the fact that it's Li Jingliang. And it's basically like, I know Li Jingliang's going to KO him. Maybe Kevin Holland's not the best matchup for him. A Neil Magny matchup for Tony Ferguson maybe could work out. Why are these matchups not being thought of for Tony Ferguson's career, and why? After being put out cold for the first time in his career, is Tony Ferguson returning so soon to get right back in there on basically short notice against Li Jingliang to fight in the co-main event of UFC 279? I understand they need a co-main event for that pay-per-view card. What does he get from this? He was KO'd in May. It will be 4 months We need a real good 6-month break for Tony Ferguson. Okay? He took a year off after Beneil Dariush. I don't understand why he's rushing back in there. I just don't understand it. Now he's rushing back in there 4 months later on short notice against Li Jingliang. And not just Li Jingliang like he's coming off some losses and he might not have it anymore. A Li Jingliang who just turned back the clock and showed everyone that he's still got it. Against Muslim Salikov, an extremely dangerous guy in the welterweight division that people were picking to win that fight. I picked Li Jingliang to get the upset KO because I think his power is just too much and he catches people leaning out the way. And Ferguson consistently leaves his chin up in the air as he leans out the way of shots. And gets into wild exchanges on the feet. Li Jingliang's going to KO him. Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, Jim Miller, why are you doing this? Why are you doing Li Jingliang? Why is this the matchup that gets made? Tim Means, Nico Price, Brian Barberena, just coming off a big win against Lawler on the main card of a pay-per-view. Give him a layup for a second. Not a quick turnaround, 3-week notice, jump back in there against a massive power puncher a weight class above you. This is not Tony Ferguson, by the way, who is, I know he mentioned the idea of going up to welterweight. He's not going to have built himself into the weight class. He's not had enough time to do that. If he made 155 4 months ago, he can't have put on 10 to 15 pounds of good muscle. He can't have put on 10 pounds of good muscle for this fight. Let's say he wants to put on 10 pounds. There's a 15 pound difference between the weight class of lightweight and welterweight. He wanted to put on 10 pounds of muscle, put on 10 pounds of good solid weight, and cut 5 pounds less of a weight cut. He's not going to have been able to do that. He's not going to be acclimatized to that weight class. So he's going to be fighting back at 170 for the longest time. He hasn't been there in a very long time. He's fought there before, I understand that. But he hasn't been in the weight class for a long time. And he's got to get acclimatized against Li Jingliang, one of the most dangerous punchers at 170 pounds. He has so many KOs in that division. He's got momentum right now. He took barely any damage in his last fight. He's got good counter-grappling improvements as he's shown against Muslim Salikov. The only guy's beaten him recently is Khamzat Chimaev. I understand there's a chance at beating him, but you've got to grapple. Neil Magny had to grapple to beat this guy. Ferguson is not going to grapple. He's going to go out there and strike and get crazy. And he's going to get KO'd immediately in the first round. And I really do believe the reason why they went with Li Jingliang, and here's the conspiracy. I think the reason why they went with Li Jingliang as a matchup is to double promote Khamzat Chimaev. They made a whole event for him with a massive favourable matchup for him in Nate Diaz. He's going to beat Nate Diaz in their eyes. And also, while we're at it, let's have someone he's beaten beforehand look really good against Tony Ferguson, a big name, and KO him, making Chimaev look better in the process. Why else would you put Li Jingliang on the card? To promote him? No. Why would you do that? You're going to be showing him getting choked out by Chimaev in all the promos for Nate Diaz versus Chimaev. So it isn't to promote Li Jingliang. It's to help promote Khamzat Chimaev. That's what it's for. I don't know why Tony Ferguson chooses to do this. I just need to get a hold of him. I need to have his phone number and just say, no. Nico Price, October. Hey, let's stay at 155. You can beat Dan Hooker in a 5-rounder. He doesn't have much punch power. I doubt he'll KO you. Take some time off, and we can have you fight at 155 against Dan Hooker, and then let's think about a McGregor fight for $1 million. Beat Dan Hooker, get on the microphone, call out Conor McGregor, then early next year, February or March, fight Conor McGregor and get that massive payday. Improve your ranking at lightweight to make it more relevant for Conor McGregor to want to take that fight. Prove you're not washed up against a favourable matchup in Dan Hooker. Maybe that'll incentivize McGregor to take it even more and even make people count you as maybe a considerable favourite in that matchup against McGregor too. But let's do this differently. Let's see what Neil Magny's doing. You know? Let's see what some other guys are doing in that weight class. Nico Price, Tim Means, Brian Barberena, Nicholas Dalby, Max Griffin. Where are all these names? Why does it have to be Li Jingliang? It doesn't. He's not even coming off a loss. You are coming off of losses. On losses. On losses. You're on a 4-fight win streak. Why are we fighting a guy who just showed that he's still got it? Fight a guy who is also coming off of a loss streak. Or coming off of at least a loss. In Dan Hooker. Why is this... This is the worst fight they could have found for him outside the top 5 of each of those divisions. Unless they were going to go, right, Armand Saruki and Tony Ferguson. Or something like that. Or maybe, hey, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Tony Ferguson. Those are the only fights I can think of that would be worse for him. Why would they pick the massive power puncher who's strong, big for the division, got momentum right now, ready to go, and got massive power in his hands, and has made a career off of KOing people after they lean back out of exchanges with their chin up in the air, like Santiago Ponzinibbio, who's shown that he's still somewhat got it against Mikel Pereira, who he arguably could have beaten as well, and also against Muslim Salikov, who was on a crazy win streak before that fight as well. Why would they make this matchup, man? Why would he let them? You're so dumb. I'm almost angry at him. You could have had a nice little ending of your career. Favourable matchup. Conor McGregor. Big paycheck. Right off into the sunset. If you win, you're right back on top, looking for a top 5 opponent again. You lose, it's done. I would have rather he taken on... You know what? I know Li Jingliang lost to Neil Magny because he grappled. But in terms of a striking matchup, I'd rather he would have got a Masvidal fight. Because at least Masvidal's not going to be committed like Li Jingliang is. He'll probably show up out of shape a little bit and take it lightly. Maybe then Ferguson would have had a chance. Maybe then it would have been a 5-rounder. Against someone who's of similar age to him. On a similar career trajectory. Why are we taking on Li Jingliang? KO'd Muslim Salikov 18-2. Muslim Salikov at the time was on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fight win streak in the UFC welterweight division. Why would you take him on? He beat Santiago Ponzinibbio with a brutal KO. Fair play, it was after Ponzinibbio was coming back after a long time, but it's still, at the time, a 27-3 Santiago Ponzinibbio. He melted Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos by 3rd round finish. David Zawada, he's got good wins on his record. David Zawada was 16-4 at the time. I don't understand this. The only people that have beaten him have grappled, and Ferguson will not grapple here. And if he wants to, he's going to give up a size advantage whilst trying to grapple. I really don't understand why they would do this. Lee is big at welterweight. And he's not going to be ready for the division on 3 weeks' notice. I hate this. I hate the way his career's been managed. Hey, Tony Ferguson, you just got mauled by Justin Gaethje in a 5-rounder and took irreparable damage. Here's Charles Oliveira, by the way. Oh, you just got beaten by Charles Oliveira? Here's up-and-coming Beneil Dariush, by the way. Oh, you just got beaten by Beneil Dariush? Here's Michael Chandler. Oh, time to go up to welterweight on short notice and fight Li Jingliang. I hope he wins this. I really pray and hope that Tony Ferguson wins this. And I'm going to make a prayer to Tony Ferguson video before that event as well. I've just decided that now. I'm predicting him to get KO'd brutally in the 1st round. And go down as an example of the worst managed careers in UFC history. The worst managed career in UFC history. Goodbye. See you later. I'm so sad. But Usman got KO'd out cold, so I'm happy again. See you later.